We are entering an age where intelligence is no longer rare. You can generate essays in seconds, code instantly, arguments for any position, images that never existed. For most of history, intelligence created advantage. Now it is becoming abundant, and when something becomes abundant, its value shifts. The skill that will matter the most in the age of AI is not intelligence, it is judgment. Today, answers are instant, analysis is automated, essays are generated, code is written, images are produced in seconds. For most of human history, intelligence was scarce. Today, it is increasingly abundant, and when something becomes abundant, its value changes. We are entering an era where the most important skill is not generating answers, but choosing wisely among them. When machines can generate answers instantly, the real skill becomes knowing which answers to trust. In a world flooded with polished arguments, persuasive narratives, automated analysis, and convincing simulations, the advantage shifts. It is no longer about who can produce output, it is about who can evaluate it. The danger is no longer ignorance, the danger is misusing or becoming overwhelmed by abundance. Misusing abundance does not require malice. It can look like something far more ordinary. For example, a student asks an AI to write an essay. The essay is structured, polished, convincing, but the student never wrestles with the ideas. Intelligence was present, judgment was absent. Or consider public discourse. AI can generate persuasive arguments for nearly any position, thousands of them, well phrased, emotionally calibrated, logically coherent on the surface. But if citizens do not pause to ask, what assumptions are hidden here? What trade-offs are ignored? What incentives are shaping this argument? Then abundance becomes manipulation. Or in business, AI can optimize for efficiency, maximize growth, reduce cost. But without judgment, optimization can quietly erode trust, long-term resilience, and human stability. The tool performs brilliantly. The outcome deteriorates slowly. The danger is not that we lack answers, it is that we may adopt them too quickly. Abundance does not eliminate responsibility, it multiplies it. Let's define our terms carefully. Intelligence in this context means processing information, recognizing patterns, synthesizing data, producing plausible solutions, and generating options. AI excels at this. But judgment is something different. Judgment means deciding what matters, ranking competing values, recognizing trade-offs, detecting subtle flaws, knowing when not to act, choosing under uncertainty. Intelligence produces possibilities. Judgment selects among them. Intelligence asks, what can we do? Judgment asks, what should we do? As intelligence becomes automated, judgment becomes the human differentiator. When machines can generate 10,000 plausible paths, the rare individual is the one who recognizes which path not to take. When analysis is instant, restraint becomes powerful. When persuasion is cheap, integrity becomes expensive. The human advantage shifts upward, from producing answers to bearing responsibility for them. And responsibility cannot be outsourced. It must be owned. For centuries, intelligence was the barrier, education was access, information was power. Analysis required years of training. Now the barrier is moving. When intelligence becomes commodified, competitive advantage shifts upwards, from production to selection. In simpler terms, it is no longer about who can generate answers. It is about who can recognize the right ones. This is not a crisis. It is a refinement. Modern systems are increasingly complex. Financial markets, political systems, information networks, military technologies, artificial intelligence. As capacity increases, consequences scale. In low-complexity environments, poor judgment is survivable. In high-complexity environments, poor judgment scales. The more powerful our tools become, the more careful we must be with how we use them. AI does not diminish humanity. It clarifies what remains uniquely human. Not speed, not calculation, but discernment. The shift is not only about institutions, it is about individuals. In a world where everyone can generate polished arguments, the person who rises will not be the one who speaks the fastest, but the one who pauses the longest. The one who asks, "Is this true? What are the trade-offs? What are we not seeing? What happens if we are wrong?" Judgment sometimes looks like refusing the first answer. It looks like comparing perspectives before deciding. It looks like delaying action when speed feels rewarding. It looks like admitting uncertainty. It requires intellectual humility, emotional regulation, the willingness to revise. These are not automatic. They must be cultivated. It would be easy to frame this moment as decline, but that would be mistaken. For centuries, intelligence was scarce and judgment was assumed. Now, intelligence is abundant. Judgment can no longer be assumed. It must be developed deliberately. This is not a loss. It is an invitation to rise to a higher standard. The children growing up with AI will not need to compete with machines at calculation. They will need to compete at discernment. They will not be distinguished by how quickly they can produce an answer, but by how wisely they can evaluate one. In an age of infinite content, the rare mind will be the one that filters carefully. In an age of persuasive machines, the rare mind will be the one that resists persuasion. AI makes intelligence abundant. That does not reduce human worth. It refines it. When answers are cheap, judgment becomes priceless. We are entering an era where the most important skill is not generating answers, but choosing wisely among them. And that is not a warning. It is an opportunity.